Alsobrooks.
Thank you so much, Chair Capito, for holding this important hearing, and thank you especially to our Secretary, Secretary Tell. Thank you also, General Graham, for being here today. Maryland communities depend on the Army Corps to deliver critical flood protection, ecosystem restoration, and navigation projects that Congress has authorized and funded. And so, Secretary Tell, I want to talk to you because Senator Van Hollen and I sent you a letter earlier this month that outlines several Maryland priorities, which we hope the administration will include in the Corps' work plan for FY26. This included the Mid-Chesapeake Bay Island Ecosystem Restoration Project, dredging to maintain safe navigation channels for the Port of Baltimore, and C&O Canal rewatering in Cumberland, which is key to cultural, environmental, and flood mitigation in our state. Now, the Mid-Bay Ecosystem Restoration Project is critical for dredge material management as Poplar Island reaches capacity, and I know you understand this because you visited. Now, would you explain how the Corps plan to ensure that funding, contracts, and construction schedules are in place so that this transition does not cause delays to the Port of Baltimore's dredging operations?
Senator Alsobrooks, you're absolutely right. Ports like the Port of Baltimore in particular, it's not just about dredging the channel to ensure that commerce can continue. It's also about having a place to deposit the dredge material that comes out of a channel that's so important like the Port of Baltimore. And you raised Poplar Island. That's where we've been depositing that material for many years. That is a place where we get beneficial use. We get to take that dredge material and restore ecosystem there in the Chesapeake Bay. As you said, it's running out of capacity. We have to expand that capacity, not just for the Chesapeake, but also to make sure that the Port of Baltimore can continue to be the important terminal that it is for the Eastern Seaboard and our nation. We are ready. I believe that all is in order as it relates to that expansion. It's something that's important to me, and as we develop the FY26 work plan, we'll absolutely you've been a great advocate for this, and we'll absolutely keep that in mind as we work through all that.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Alsobrooks, if I could just add, in March, we do plan to award with $168 million we do have on hand, award the Site 1 prep contract. And then we'll wait for additional funding in the work plan to come after that, potentially to keep that project moving forward. But right now, as the Secretary spoke to, we are on track.
Okay, great to hear. Now, dredging capacity in the Mid-Atlantic is limited by aging equipment and few available vessels. So what specific investments, procurement plans, or operational strategies is the Corps implementing to ensure that navigation channels serving Baltimore remain safe, reliable, and capable of handling increased vessel traffic?
Senator Alsobrooks, thank you so much for raising this question. You've hit on a very important thing here. Our nation depends on dredging capacity, but unfortunately, the way that we are acquiring that dredging capacity and contracting with our private sector partners is inefficient. Building infrastructure, not paperwork, is going to tackle that in a number of ways. But one of the ones that I'll highlight that I think you're hitting on here, the way that we deal with the contracting for this is we quite often have regional contracts that don't look at the national scope and make smart decisions about how we deploy the resources nationally. We also have environmental challenges related to dredging that we haven't updated sometimes in decades. And the way that I equate it is, sometimes we have these windows that we have to get in environmentally to dredge that there's a small part of the year. I equate it to your spouse asking you to run errands on a Saturday, and you have to go to 10 different places, and you and I both live in Prince George's County, Maryland, and you have to go all the way across the Washington, D.C. Metro for errand number 1. You got to go back across the Washington, D.C. area metro for route number 2. Any rational person would go to the stop that's closest to them first, and then the stop that's closest to that next, and the stop that's closest to that next, and have an efficient Saturday of errand running. But right now, the way that we acquire our dredging, we're sending our dredgers all over, and they're spending quite often more time in transit between our ports than they are in the ports dredging. And building infrastructure, not paperwork, is going to get after this in a number of ways and give us more efficient dredging that's going to benefit the Port of Baltimore. It's going to benefit ports all up and down the East Coast, in the Gulf, and on the West Coast as well.
Thank you. Now, on October 17th, Russell Vogt, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, posted on X that the Democrat shutdown, this is his quote, has drained the Army Corps of Engineers' ability to manage billions of dollars in projects. He further stated that over $11 billion in lower priority projects, including projects in New York, San Francisco, Boston, and Baltimore, would be paused or considered for cancellation. In response, my colleagues and I on October 30th sent a letter to you, Secretary Tell, urging you to defend the Corps against politically biased decision-making, and that letter remains unanswered. Our staff continues to not receive information on the affected projects or studies, and I, along with members of the Maryland delegation, sent a letter following up requesting Maryland-specific details as these threatened cancellations impact the safety, flood protection, and economic well-being of communities across our state. And I see our time is tolling. So I want to ask two quick questions, whether the failure to respond, because I know you said transparency was important to you, communication was important to you, and whether or not you regard that as a break in that commitment, and whether or not we can have that commitment from you that we will have the answer. It's been 4 months, we have no answer to it yet, and we need that commitment.
Senator Alsobrooks, we had the longest shutdown in our nation's history last fall. It was very unfortunate. It caused all kinds of problems for us in the delivery of what we do. It caused General Graham all kinds of problems. It was terribly unfortunate. What I will say about projects is that we are assessing and reviewing all of our portfolio all the time. We empower our project managers, we empower our districts, our divisions, General Graham or me, to, if we see something going wrong with a project, to stop and take a look and make sure we get it back on track. This is normal and everyday process within what we do to deliver good oversight and quality.
And Mr. Secretary, I know that I'm going to get cut off a second here. When can we expect a response?
Senator
to the
Alsobrooks,
inquiry?
we're happy to get your response.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right,